our territory, our resources, the Mi'kmaq of Gespe'gewa'gi take the responsibility of the caretakers of this land very seriously. In the times of our ancestors, this rich territory sustained our families, keeping them well fed, sheltered, and provided for an economy that flourished. Today, in 2012, the reality of our territory is the encroachment of third-party interests. Government and industry have taken over the management and exploitation of our resources to the point where our communities suffer financially while industry and government profit from our trees, our water, our land, and our rights. What are the facts? What is our current reality? In this video provided to you by the Consultation and Accommodation Unit, you will witness the alienation of the Mi'kmaq from our own resources. It will provide you with the information on the realities of the third-party interests on our territory, Gespe'gewa'gi. Our entire territory of Gespe'gewa'gi is leased out to various oil and gas companies for the purpose of onshore oil and gas exploitation. Companies like Petrolia, Corridor, Junex, and Gastem hold exclusive rights to explore and exploit oil and natural gas finds on the territory. Most of these leases were obtained without any consultation to the Mi'kmaq, and none of them have royalty sharing agreements with us. Over the last decade, nearly $100 million has been spent in our territory for exploration because studies have shown that there is a significant potential for hydrothermal dolomite, shale gas, and gas-bearing deposits. We are all well aware of the current offshore oil and gas potential with the recent headlines of the projected exploitation of the Old Harry site located in the waters off of Gespe'gewa'gi. In 2010, officials from the three communities and the Mi'kmaq Secretariat met with representatives from Quebec and Canada to discuss a potential agreement that was in the works between the province and the federal government. The Mi'kmaq made it very clear that any agreement reached needed to have full consultation and participation of the Mi'kmaq. In March 2011, the Quebec and federal government signed that agreement, which will lead to the exploration of billions of barrels of oil and natural gas in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, providing Quebec with 100% of the royalties from these offshore resources. Old Harry is considered the largest untapped hydrocarbon reserve in eastern Canada and represents an estimated 2 billion barrels of oil and as much as 5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. One of the fastest growing industries in the territory of Gespe'gewa'gi is wind power. Currently, there are already 8 wind farms functioning in our territory, generating over 660 megawatts of electricity with an annual revenue of over $46 million. If you were to place these wind turbines flat on the ground, one in front of the other, they would cover a distance further than Gespe'gewa'gi. Recently, a Mi'kmaq Wind Power Partnership Initiative, known as MWP2, was established so that there would be some Mi'kmaq involvement in the wind farm industry by providing employment for experienced Mi'kmaq tradespersons and providing training to inexperienced Mi'kmaq. The forest has provided life and shelter for the Mi'kmaq since time immemorial. It has also given medicines, material, and nourishment, which is part of the Mi'kmaq culture. Impacts from the forest industry within Gespe'gewa'gi have grown tremendously throughout the years and have had an adverse effect on our way of life. Currently, the forest and wood-related industry in Quebec employs 67,000 jobs, with shipment and revenues in excess of $21 million a year annually. In Gespe'gewa'gi, forestry and logging operations account for 15% of non-Mi'kmaq employment, or 4,100 jobs. There are approximately 47 Mi'kmaq working seasonally in this field. That represents 0.8%, or one Mi'kmaq worker for every 87 non-Mi'kmaq workers. Also, the Quebec government allocates on average 1.1 million cubic meters of timber each year to forest companies working within the district of Gespe'gewa'gi. The three communities receive approximately 0.5% of the total allocation of timber that the Quebec government hands out annually each year. Mining activities have been active in Gespe'gewa'gi since the early 1940s. Leases covered a small portion of the territory, and as the years went on, they increased at a steady rate. All this while the residential school epidemic was running rampant for the Mi'kmaq. Community members often arrested for hunting and fishing in the territory, and Mi'kmaq bands struggled to access government funding to survive. By 1985, mining was a thriving industry in Gespe'gewa'gi. None of the leases were authorized by the Mi'kmaq, and no revenues went to the Mi'kmaq. In recent history, we've seen a fluctuation of mining activity on our territory. As non-renewable resources, precious materials have been and continue to be extracted from our lands without Mi'kmaq having much say on the exploration, exploitation, or revenue of this again growing industry. Today, various industries hold exclusive mining leases over most of Gespe'gewa'gi. The Mi'kmaq have yet to make our presence known to these companies in a significant way. Industry will continue to exploit materials from our territory because the government continues to authorize these leases, lease renewals, and incentives for industry to explore the lands of Gespe'gewa'gi. This video provided you with just a glimpse into the current activities that are happening on our territory. Industry and the government play key roles in the exploration of all of our resources. The Mi'kmaq will not sit idle by as companies get rich off of what belongs to our people. It is our time to act. It is our time to access the resources, assert our rights together as the Mi'kmaq of Gespe'gewa'gi.